Hey guys, hey everybody. Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone doing this evening? Okay, I am going to go ahead and get this party started. Right? Okay. No, without further ado, I wanted to bring our in-house attorney, the expert, on to let's discuss the young thugs, slime life, stoner life, some kind of life. All right, here it is, Temani Adams. Hey,
Hello. Hi.
how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. How's your holiday?
Oh, it was boring,
Yeah,
but
you didn't do
yeah.
anything. You didn't do
No.
it. All right, I wanted to Well, let's get started. You're not new. Oh, somebody put in young success life. Someone just put in young success.
The new YSL.
Oh, okay, Tim. I got a chance to send you off the updated indictment. And today, I was at court and they had the jury selection. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be 600 juries that they're going through. Do you think they'll be ready by Monday?
To go through 600, they can be ready by Monday. Today is what? Tuesday?
No, today's Wednesday.
Oh, okay. By Monday, no. Like, no. They would have to have done a lot of advanced work in order to be ready by Monday, and they would have to be working long hours.
Well, the only thing the judge was able to do today was read the indictment. You know that long sheet that I sent you?
Yeah.
He did that with all the, because it's 191 acts in 50 something counts, something like
Hmm.
that. So, and then Monday, they're supposed to be doing the hardship, those jurors who has some sort of hardship. So, do you think they're going to be able to get the jury going?
So I think so the hardship comes into like I have, small children. I can't stay late. I have to take medicine that makes me drowsy. I have a sick loved one who I have to be in contact with constantly. Those are the hardship situations.
Hmm. Because
And let
they're
me
anticipating.
say, I think out of six,
I think
go
we're
ahead.
breaking up some kind of way. We're choppy. I thought you stopped, but go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
so those are like the hardship people. I think that they are going to be able to get a jury, but I think that anyone who is smart and wants to get out of jury duty will come up with some type of hardship by Monday.
Okay. Well, and they said they anticipate this trial is going to last between 6 and 8 months or something like that. And from my understanding, that's going to be really, really hard to get a regular person to be a juror.
Oh, definitely. Because so under various laws, if you have to do jury duty, like you have a job, your
Hmm.
job can't fire you because of jury duty. You just so happen are on this jury for 8 or 9 months, and it's the case from hell, and your job is upset. That's just what it is. But that's a long time for a case for people to for you to have someone's attention. And then not only that, a case this long, at some point, unless it's exciting every day, at some point jurors kind of check out.
So then it's not going to be the benefit. Oh Lord. The other thing is, what type of makeup do you think the jury will be because of that type, the longevity of the trial? Do you think it would just be like retiree or rich people? I mean, what do you think the makeup would be of the jurors?
Okay, so I do jury consultation for other attorneys. So we go into, or I go into it a different way. So
Mhm.
I say, who is my target juror? Do I want them to, like, what ethnicity do I want them to be? What education? What is their marital status? So on and so forth. So I pick who my target juror is,
Mhm.
and then I try to strike people from there who are not my target juror.
Okay. And okay, there a difference between jury selection with state and a jury selection with the feds?
No, it's typically the same.
Mhm.
The major difference that I have seen and experienced is that in the federal system, the judges give you less time for jury selection, where on the state level, they give you more time for jury selection.
Okay, okay. As far as strikes and things like that, do they give the same amount of numbers, or is it just different on that?
No, it's a little bit different and it varies by state,
Hmm.
but some things that don't change is, say, for instance, if you want to strike a juror for cause,
Hmm.
meaning you have a legal reason to strike this juror from the panel,
Hmm.
um, that doesn't change. You have unlimited options to strike a juror for cause. So, like, just say, for instance, a person says, well, I can't sit in judgment of someone else. That's a reason to strike a juror for cause. Or if a juror says, no, I'm biased, I'm in favor of one party over the other, that's a challenge for cause. And you have the complete right to strike someone for cause.
Okay. All right. So I want to get a little bit into this case. I sent you over the indictment. Did you get a chance to take a look at it? And I want to hear your thoughts on this whole thing.
Okay, so the first thing is after reviewing the indictment, I completely understand why the judge did not give him bond. I completely understand
Okay.
because of all the acts that he's involved in. One, I think just the pure volume of the overt acts and what they're alleging is quite a bit. And then in the same breath, some of the acts that they're accusing him of, like being involved in murders and things like that, yeah, I completely understand why she didn't give him bond because it's showing that there's a level of dangerousness that the public cannot be protected from. So, say for instance, in regards to one of the conspiracies, excuse me, for murder, that he it's not an overt act that he did, but what happened is they were going to contact him to get approval for a murder and see how much it would pay. The thing is, well, yeah, we can let you out on bond and put you on house arrest with guards, but we can't monitor your phone calls. You know what I mean? Because they were just looking for a way to contact him. So just contact would be potentially dangerous for the public.
Okay. Now, on that note, you just mentioned that the danger of not getting a bond, and all of the other co-defendants did not get a bond, right? Just recently, they've been given a whole bunch of plea deals, right?
Hmm.
How is it possible that they can give them a plea deal where they got out right away, but you say that they're so dangerous to even get a bond? Why is it okay for them to get out so quickly and without any kind of time, extra time being added on, or even give them a 2 or 3 years, but they gave them probation, 15 years probation, and they're out. So,
So once a person is sentenced, like meaning the person accepts their probation, it's over. You have to be released. You've accepted your probation. Your case is disposed of. You're on probation. You abide by the guidelines of the probation department. And the standards for giving someone bond versus your sentence to probation, those are two totally separate things. So giving someone bond is, hey, is this person safe to be free while their case is pending? And because there's so many allegations, especially like of intimidation and things like that, the concern of the court is, are they going to intimidate witnesses while they're on bond in order to inhibit the case? Versus when I pled guilty, I admitted I did X, Y, and Z, then you're on your probation. So the issue is, protect while the case is pending. Are they going to interfere with the case while they're on bond? And there was a strong likelihood of them doing that, which is why they were denied bond.
hmm, well, okay. Why didn't the feds take this case? It's a
That's what
RICO.
I was wondering. No, I wasn't wondering it that for that reason. I was wondering it for other reasons
Okay.
because not even on the RICO level. I could care less about that. But so many of the acts are federal, can be charged federally. Like they have them on possession of firearm by a felon. So many of them. Those were easy federal wins. Easy wins. And like possession of a firearm, like while they were having drugs or in furthering of drug trafficking. Those are like easy federal wins. And so I was very, very curious, like why for the cases that they knew they would get a win on federally, why didn't they allow the feds to take the case? But I think one thing is that we have to keep in mind, even though they were charged and convicted under Georgia law, they can still be prosecuted under federal law for the same offenses.
Hmm.
The
So
feds can still charge them.
okay, um, and I was looking at the charge because a lot of one person I saw that was a charge done in Arizona, which is not. Why would you put that here in the Georgia case, and it's not a federal case, but you're gonna still include that crime in there from another state?
I let me see if I can pull that up because I have the indictment. I'm trying to see which count that
I
is.
think it was like all the way to like after 56. Hold on, let me just check. Hold on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, so that charge is possession of a firearm by a felon.
Hmm.
So what that means is you are a felon under any state law or even federal law, and you possess the firearm. So what you have to prove is first this person is a felon. So he became a felon in Arizona, and you are now in Georgia. So even no matter where you are, you still can't possess a firearm. So they say, okay, you were convicted in Arizona, you are a convicted felon. You came to Georgia and possessed a firearm as a convicted felon. So
Okay.
it's not getting into the Arizona case. It's saying that that's where you were convicted of your felony at.
Okay. 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 Now, as far because I wasn't gonna keep you too long here. Um, as far as a defense, um, if you were on this particular case, what would be some of the ways you would handle this case?
Okay, so the first thing is a lot of the overt acts
Hmm.
aren't overt acts. Like they talk a lot about their social media posts. Like, oh, they posted X, Y, and Z. And they had a YSL chain or a YSL tattoo in furtherance of the organization. That's not an overt act. I'm pretty sure most of the posts were not for the purpose of promoting YSL.
Hmm.
These were just their social media posts.
Hmm.
And they've done that in several of the overt acts. Now, I was reading it, and I'm like, they're really reaching with a lot of the social media posts saying that they were overt acts because they weren't. So, and then like they were, like say for instance, overt act number 29. It's
Hmm.
a social media post, and the guy posed for a picture. Oh, it was a bunch of them in the picture, including Young Thug. But
Hmm.
he says flashing YSL gang hand signs, an overt act of the furtherance of the conspiracy. That has nothing to do with anything. A social media post. I mean, if he was doing something in the post, but just standing there and you're throwing up your sign, that's not an overt act in furtherance of anything.
Hmm.
It's a social media post. And so a lot of the posts were like that. Like one of them, they were like, oh, this person posted their face, made a post, and they have a YSL tattoo there. Well, hey, they could have posted a picture of like of them carrying their groceries in their grandma's house, and their YSL tattoo was showing. That doesn't mean that was an overt act in furtherance of their activity. Like a lot of the overt acts were reaching, especially the social media posts.
Hmm. And then YSL can mean anything. Your Louis Vuitton bag is YSL.
So yeah, it's just a lot of it is insane. But I think my main thought would be how do I dismantle this RICO? Like how do I dismantle it? So I think the first thing is showing that a lot of the overt acts aren't overt acts. That's the first thing. And then second, and I'm pretty sure by now they have the witness list saying, okay, who are these witnesses? How can I attack them and their credibility? But most importantly is, how can I change this narrative
Mhm.
that YSL is not a gang? And I think, or whatever they want to allege, but I think that his defense team is going to have a very, they're going to have an uphill battle because there are so many things that are going to come into evidence that have nothing to do with him, but the jury's going to hear about it. And so when they hear about it, it's like you can't unhear it. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
can't unhear it. So even though those things may not have anything to do with him, you've heard it, and all you've heard for months and months and months and months is bad acts. So from
Mhm.
there, it's just like, whoa. And if you're sitting there for months, it's like, one, I'm tired, I'm ready to go.
Mhm.
And I don't see any way uh, to make this be something else.
Okay. Okay.
So,
As far as the prosecution, they went from 28 defendant down to 14. Why do you think they did that? Do you think it's a strategy, or why do you think they didn't do a whole all 28?
and one trial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so there could be several reasons. One, it could be we don't have the capacity to do 28 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It could be simple as that. But it could be, let's, as far as strategy, it could be, let's do these 14 so that we can get our convictions or whatever it is. And then, like, just say they get convictions on this first trial. Then these other 14 can see the writing on the wall and go ahead and take the plea offer.
Well, they took the plea offer. The other ones, there was, I think it was 8 that took a plea offer, and then the other one, they postponed their trial
Yeah.
because they didn't
So,
have attorneys.
because they don't have attorneys,
Yeah, they don't have attorneys.
they didn't get a public defender.
No, they didn't have
What?
it. Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
yeah, exactly.
Because in the United States, if you cannot afford an attorney, the court has to appoint you one. So the
Well,
only way that a person goes to trial without a lawyer is if that person says, I want to represent myself.
no,
That
they
is insane.
they could not find attorneys for them, so they severed their case from that.
Okay, well that makes sense. Because well, let me just I do not accept court appointments. I did for 6 months. I was like, this is a waste of time. But if I did accept court appointments to get on a case where I know that my client the person wants to go to trial, or there's a chance of trial, for 9 months, no, I wouldn't do it.
Hmm.
I wouldn't do it. Because when you're in trial, even though you have your office and you have your staff or whatever it is may be, you generally don't make money while you're in trial. You don't make money while you're in trial because you're beginning of your day, you're in court the whole day. You get out of court, you have to prepare for court the next day. So you really aren't taking in new clients, especially if the person doesn't have a staff or another attorney that works for them. So it's a money pit. Like, you're going to lose money. And then for most court appointed, most states where you get court appointed, you don't get paid until the case is over.
Mm-hmm.
So you are working this case for over a year, 9 months of it, you're in trial. You're going to bankrupt yourself. Like, for one case, no, and you're not going to get that much money. So, I wouldn't do it either. Now I completely understand.
So, do you think that's one of the reasons why they were able to get those plea deals? So, persuade their clients to take the plea deal because they didn't want to do the work.
So I'm going to say that's it's possible. I'll say it's possible because it's a 9 month trial. Like, that's a killer. Like, if your client did not pay you at least 6 figures, and I'm not talking like 100,000 for a 9 month trial. I mean, it cannot be a one in front of like whatever they paid you to do a 9-month trial. By no
Mhm.
means.
Mhm.
Like there's no, it's a plea. And I think another thing is a lot of people, a lot of attorneys, they charge two different fees. You may have your fee for a plea, and then you have your fee for a trial. So hey, this is my fee if the case pleads out. This is my fee if you go to trial. And the fee if you go to trial is a lot higher. So if the person knows, hey, I have no chance of paying this higher amount to go to trial, your answer is you're gonna plead.
But if they're court appointed, and meaning the person doesn't have any money,
I for a 9-month trial, man, talk about putting the pressure on these people. Because if not, if the person doesn't plead, then your office goes into the tank. So yeah, hey, it's either you're gonna plead or I gotta withdraw because I can't do a 9-month trial.
wow, wow, that is some good information on that one.
Because
That
that's
kind of explain a
insane.
lot of things.
Like that's a 9-month trial. Like you going broke as a court appointed
Attorney.
lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah, no wonder why they was convincing them, hey, take a plea. And the ones that wouldn't take a plea, they're like, oh, because the two, they brought them back to see if they were going to take a plea, and they refused to take a plea.
Hmm. And it's just like I think I saw that on the news, and they were like the judge was even surprised. Yeah, because it's just like, but again, another thing that can happen is while the trial is going on, the rest of the case can just stand still. So you just stuck in there waiting for your turn, unless your attorney goes in and says, "Hey, can we talk about a plea?" But the prosecutors also can't really talk about a plea for you because they're in the middle of the actual trial. So
Mhm.
it's a horrible situation.
Wow, wow, wow. Can you explain that plea deal, please? They mentioned, I can't remember the name of it. Oh my God. Can somebody help me? It's called Alpha or
An
something.
Alfred plea.
Thank you. Thank you. Could you explain that?
Yes. So an Alfred plea is a plea where you're saying, I'm not guilty,
Mhm.
but I recognize that the state has enough evidence to prove me guilty.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm innocent. I'm saying I'm innocent, but I recognize that they have enough evidence to prove me guilty.
And then that person, they said that that person did not have to testify. So,
Correct.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So that was the Gunner guy that he got the Alfred plea. So people kept saying, "Oh, he's snitching and he's gonna tell." That doesn't mean that at all.
No, it doesn't. And I think what more than and the thing is, a lot of people don't know about alpha pleas because they're typically very rare. They're typically very rare.
But can
So
you ask for it, or is it the prosecution has to offer it to you? Can you
no, you
bring
can
it up?
ask for it. You can ask
Oh,
for it. And I think a lot of people, when doing an alpha plea, the main thing is, especially in his situation, if me pleading guilty means I'm going to be released, and I recognize that they have enough evidence to find me guilty anyway,
hmm,
let me go ahead and get this out the way so I can get out of jail.
okay, okay. Now, what do you think about the 15-year probation?
That is insane. Who the hell? And I feel like 15 years of probation is setting someone up for failure.
Yeah.
That's setting someone up for failure. In Texas, the maximum period you can be on probation is 10 years. So, yeah, and there's that's just insane. 15 years of probation. That's it's insane. I feel like they're setting them up for failure because if they are already committing these types of crimes and have been committing these crimes for all these years, there's no way they're going to stay clean and out of trouble for 15 years.
15 years, yeah. Yeah. Is there a difference between a federal RICO and a state RICO? Or are
Yes,
they fine?
No, they are very different because with the federal RICOs, they have a broader reach than different state level RICOs. And like some states don't even have RICO statutes. So they're all different at the state level.
Yeah, Georgia just recently adapted the RICO because I heard them mentioning that. So this is like a I don't think they ever had a trial like this. This is like going to be the precedence of all trials. So
Mm-hmm.
they got to make sure they cross all their T's and dot all their I's for this case because if they don't make it, then whew.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I think when you take out all of the reaching overt acts like the Facebook post or the Instagram post, you take those out. They have some really good overt acts. The next issue is, are these people going to testify? Like say for instance, and I don't know if they pled. Say for instance, in one of the overt acts where they were talking about attempting to kill Wyathan Lucci while in jail. So they did it twice. I think once February 2nd, the other one February 9th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, February 9th and February 22nd. So on the February 22nd, and I think that's number 40, overt act 47. So
Mm-hmm.
in that one, they're saying, hey, they were they were in jail. They were talking about getting approval from Young Thug to kill Wife and Lucci while in custody, because they're in custody as well, and what the payment would be. And if those people are going to testify, that overt act is proven. So it's like I said, whoever this
But
witness list
mm-hmm.
is a gold mine. So it's a matter of who is actually going to testify. So even if they have people who aren't going to testify, in order to improve their chances, the prosecutor is definitely offering deals to testify.
Okay, like that guy, the one they just recently, the one to start with the S, um, because they said he was the one that was in the car and all this blah blah blah. Um, as far as you have individuals who were already serving time for crimes that has nothing to do with supposedly this crime here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting a taste of freedom, and the likelihood of them lying would benefit them.
Yeah.
So, do you think the defense will be able to combat and show that these people just did this agreement to say that this happened because they wanted to be free? Do you think that defense will be have some strong like cross examination that will show that they're here for that purpose, or
So that's going to depend on the ability of his defense attorneys,
Mhm.
because crossing a snitch is it's an art, if that makes sense. It's an
Okay,
art.
okay.
So, and it's just a matter of how you approach it. So it's the a trial of this magnitude, or any trial, but especially a trial of this magnitude, is putting together. It's several different pieces that you put together to make one puzzle. So
Mhm.
you start with, your target juror, getting them on the jury, because when you go through jury selection, if you're doing it right, you know a lot about this person, about the way they think, feel, and believe. And then getting those people on the jury. And then, and even in jury selection, you can ask about, you know, have you ever heard of a cooperating witness or a snitch? Or, how do you feel about those type of people? Do you think they're credible? And if they say, oh, yeah, I think they're credible because this, and then to strike this juror for cause.
Okay.
Like, get them on out of here. This ain't the person I want on the jury.
Mhm.
So it's like a step-by-step process, but you have to make it all come together. So
Mhm.
an effective cross-examination will definitely do them some good. But the thing is, you have to be prepared for whatever the witness is going to say. And so if you haven't been able to talk to this witness before, which more than likely they have not, you can potentially open a can of worms that could hurt your client.
Mm. I got. Are you okay taking some questions from the chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I have one person says here, LG says, for the ones that took the plea from the Fed, can the feds pick the case up?
Yes. So anytime, and it's not double jeopardy, let me be very clear. Double jeopardy is being charged with the same offense in the same jurisdiction. The feds and the state are two separate jurisdictions. So, yes, the state and the feds can charge you for the same acts.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Um, Anybody else have any questions? Because I promised I was not going to keep her on here too long because I don't want to wear out my welcome with her. Because I know you're busy, busy, busy. Okay, here's a question. The feds is watching. See the state. Okay.
Yeah. So, this is another thing. Let's just say the state messes up the case, like it's going south. And I've seen this happen in other state cases. Like the state case is falling apart, not even before trial or during trial, but the state case is falling apart. And the feds say, you know what? We see how this is going to go. Let's go ahead and prepare our indictments.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I know. So I'll tell you about a case that happened here in Texas. So this guy was charged with like kidnapping, I think aggravated assault, all types of stuff, for kidnapping someone who stole his drug money and drugs, who was related to him, but it was crazy. So case is going on for years. He's in jail. He can't make bond. He finally is able to make bond. And while he's on bond, he's contacting the person, his alleged victim, so on and so forth, because they know one another. Victim is saying he's not coming to court. The state case is really falling apart. So what happens? The feds pick it up, and they charged him and his associates with more crimes.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I have somebody by the name of Terry Brown. She says, what's your retainer fee?
Oh, it varies by case.
How well versed are you in the state of Georgia, Rico?
Pretty well versed. So
Mhm.
because at a certain point I was going to get licensed in Georgia, but
Mhm.
I'm not coming.
But question: if somebody wanted to, put you, hire you for this, I'm not saying that they are. I'm just asking a question because I don't know. Because you did ask that question about the thing. Um, would you? Are you able to practice here, or you have to do it underneath somebody, or how would that happen?
So what I would do instead of being an actual attorney on the case, I would just get hired as a consultant.
As a consultant?
So
Okay.
you're getting me, but I'm probably in the courtroom with your lawyers. I'm just not the person standing up asking the questions.
Okay, but you'll see things that the lawyer may not be
Yeah,
asking.
I'll be right there.
Okay. Okay. Um, Somebody else. Okay. Next question is, can we ask the BPO sharing inmates information? We're on a different case, ma'am. We're on a different case. But would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, are they saying BPO or BOP?
BOP, I think.
Okay,
BOP.
the Bureau of Prisons. So let me just say, the Bureau of Prisons is a whole can of worms times a million. They are understaffed. They can't do things correctly. I like I've been trying to visit this one client for months. So the BOP is an entire can of worms, and the BOP has a lot of corruption in the BOP,
Mm.
and because the BOP has no oversight, like none. There's no one to check them and say that you're doing these things wrong. All types of shenanigans happens, and unfortunately these people whose information being shared, they don't have an attorney because they've already been sentenced, um and or even when they haven't been, like, being reporting these people is the least of their worries. So the bill, even we've caught like case managers lying, like on the phone, recorded calls, and we took it all the way up to DC, and they did everything they could to protect their officers. And I mean, we have recordings. So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, so they protect them really hard. What about if they have? Okay, I was going to ask. I was going to bring up that other case, but let me finish. Okay. Mr. 444 Smile says, "Can Gunna appeal his sentence?" Do we
No, more than likely, as part of the plea agreement, there is a waiver of appeal.
know? Okay. I thought they said they can do a habeas corpus or something like that.
Yeah, that's different than an appeal. So when you make a plea agreement, part of the plea agreement is you waive your appeal rights, and unless certain things have happened. So, like, say for instance, if you have a case where you file a motion to suppress at some point, and you agree to a plea, but you want to be able to appeal the judge not granting your motion to suppress, that's an appeal right that you could keep. But if it's just an appeal right where there weren't any dispositive issues, no, you waived your right to appeal.
Okay. Miss Terry's back again with the question with the hiring. She's asking, what about the state of Michigan?
Yeah, it would. So in the state of Michigan, like I said, if it's a state case, not a federal case, I would just be a consultant. I wouldn't be on the actual case.
But if it's a federal case, you can go and do whatever state it is.
Yes, but
Okay.
so I think the craziest thing I think about Michigan, I'll think about is the cold.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I think about, because I had to do go to Kansas City, Missouri for a consult on a federal case.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold, it was raining, and my flight back home, and I was just going that morning, doing my jail consult, flying right back home. Flight back home got canceled, and I was stuck.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's all I think about. Like, when cold states is, what if I get
I know
stuck and I
it.
can't get
Look, don't
home?
say that because I'm about to go to Chicago. Please don't say that. Don't say that to me, please. I don't want to get stuck out there. um, there's another question. There was another question. Okay, what state are you licensed in?
Texas and New York.
New York and Texas, guys. New York and
Yes.
Texas. Um, okay. She asked, Mark Quinn, I'm sorry, is Jeffrey going on trial for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, or ordering someone to commit murder?
Hold on, I have the indictment in front of me. Give me 2 seconds, and I can let you know.
Okay.
He is number 56, I think. Okay.
He had 56, 59, because the other one was just gang activity.
All right, hold on 1 second. Okay, he is number one. Let's go.
Number one, which is the Rico one part.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he is on
I know
50.
56. I know 56 is one he's on. 57 he's
Okay,
on.
56 is conspiracy to commit murder. And so, yeah, that's the conspiracy, but it doesn't. Yeah, 56, 57. Oh, wow.
The other ones were like for gang activity. Remember?
Hold on. This damn indictment is so long.
It
And
is.
what's so crazy is they don't put a lot of information. They didn't put a lot of information in here.
He's fit. I'm gonna give you the numbers and then you look at the crime. 56,
I am.
57.
So I have 56. 56 is street gang activity. So that's but this is what they're doing. So 56 is participation in criminal street gang activity. So, and the gang activity that they're alleging is murder, aggravated assault, armed robbery, so on and so forth. So they're alleging that all of these are gang activity, and he participated in them. So he didn't have to participate directly because he's in the gang. So it's almost like they have the Rico case, and 56 is like a mini conspiracy because they're alleging so many acts.
Okay. Now 59, because you said 50, 59.
57 57 is also participating in street gang activity, but it's not a murder, it's drugs. Then 58 is drugs, 59 is drugs,
60.
60 is drugs, and
61.
61 is possession of a firearm during commission of a felony. which is possession of marijuana, the possession of the codeine, and the possession of cocaine. This
And
is one that the feds can definitely pick up, and I mean pick up tomorrow.
that 161.
Uh-huh. So in the federal system, this is what we call possession of a firearm and furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. It's the punishment is found under 924C. And in the federal law, if a conviction under this is a minimum of 5 years.
Okay, 62.
And 62. Oh, I have a note about this possession of the machine gun. And in furtherance of the drugs, which so this would be a 924C. But when I saw the machine gun, that is a federal offense that is charged all the time. So what happened is they had a handgun and they converted it into a automatic gun, to a machine gun,
Mm-hmm.
which is illegal. The only way you can possess a gun like this, which is the same for like a silencer, is if you have a gun trust and it doesn't look like they have one.
No gun trust. Okay. Wow. All right. Next question is: how many years do you think Young Thug is looking at if you take a plea deal?
So based on his acts, he's looking at least double digits, at least. So I think that because of the count where they're alleging the murders, like I think that was 56 or 57 that we just talked about. He's looking at a long time. And depending on how punishment goes, whether the jury punishes him or the judge, that's where things will really determine whether or not what the amount of time he's looking at. So a lot, like just say for instance, for Ghana, who was only in number one,
Number
in
one.
count one, and what his acts were. His acts, they were not alleging him being involved in the murder or things like that. So his exposure was a lot less than Young Thug's, and Young Thug would be, they're looking at him as far as being like a leader. So his exposure is a lot extremely lengthy, especially depending on how his different indictments or his different offenses are sentenced, whether or not they're going to be concurrent or consecutive.
Okay. Well, you know what's also too. I need to probably go back to the courthouse to get the another updated one, because the reason why I say that is because the judge threw out the certain charges that was found during the because they didn't have the proper search warrant. So when they
Yeah.
found the gun inside the house, I don't think the gun could be used against him. So that's one count that would be gone too, and the marijuana could be gone because they weren't supposed to be in his house and searching for that. So
Yeah, I mean, but even just thinking about the one, like the gang activity charge involving the murder, like that's tough.
yeah, yeah. All right, let me go to the next person. Guys, we only have about 15 minutes with Timothy, and that's it. That's it. 15 minutes. All right, okay. Next question: has the prosecution proven their case to say YSL is a gang or with just a witness? Oh, Ken, that's a question. Has
Okay. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have way more than one witness, and they're going to be able to prove it through their social media posts. Let me just say, I don't know what people's obsession is with social media, but in cases now, even in the past few years, people's social media posts come up in almost every case if
Yep,
it's relevant. I've
yep.
had cases where I'm in court waiting for my case and they're having a hearing, and I remember there was a case where they were asking this man to pay restitution. He said he couldn't. He couldn't afford it. And they're like, oh, but on your Facebook page on this day, you went and did X, Y, and Z. You could have used that money to pay restitution. I
Mm.
think they're going to be able to prove they are a gang from his rap lyrics and from their social media posts.
Even though they have the thing with the law of it being expression, freedom of speech, expression, artistic expression, or something like that.
Yeah, and I understand that argument, but in this situation, it only goes so far. Because, like, say for instance, if they only had like a couple of these, like a couple of posts or a couple of lyrics, that'd be one thing. But they have several.
Okay.
They have so if they only had a couple, then that's one thing. But if they have several and they have several different posts, lyrics, so on and so forth, no, they can't. You can't explain that many away.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna give two more questions, and then I'm gonna stop. Okay, guys. This question here is from Mr. 444 again. Same people call asking questions. Will there be a jury panel different from the feds?
Yes. Yes. So the Fulton County jury panel has to be from Fulton County. The federal jury panel has to be from that district.
So they have to have the people got to come from Fulton County, no other
Yeah.
county.
Yeah, because that's the county that the case is charged in.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Um. Anybody else want to do the last question for Timony? Who's going to be the lucky one to do the last question? Because she is a very, very, very busy woman. We don't want to hold her too long. She has cases and cases. Okay. All right. Gregory, you're going to be the last lucky winner. All right. The last question is, so if he beats the state case, can the feds pick it up?
Yep.
All right. That is the answer to that question. Timmy, again, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully, while this case is going, because I'm going to be out there, case is going, I'll keep you abreast of everything. And thank you again.
Okay. You're welcome. I have a question for you. So, are you going to watch this entire trial?
Yes, I am. You know me.
Like, this is going to be a long case.
Well, I mean, as long as I can, if,
Okay.
this is me. This is my stuff. This is my forte.
Okay. I think it would be great if the judge allowed cameras in the courtroom.
He does, but the only one. He did a Rule 22, only one camera. It's not live anymore because it was a fluke where they picked up the prosecutor saying certain things. So now it's delayed, so they'll see it afterwards.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, Marvin said I didn't answer his question. Let's do this last one. Marvin wants this question asked. You didn't answer my question. I can't cash out. We're gonna have to testify against, huh? Young Thug. I don't understand the question.
I don't either, but I'll give an answer. So Gunna does not have to testify against Young Thug based on his plea agreement. He does not. That's not a requirement of his plea agreement. That's not a requirement of an Alfred plea. He does not have to testify against Young Thug at all.
There's your answer, y'all. Thank you so much, Timothy. I'll see you the next time.
All right, you guys have a good day.
All right.
Bye.
You just lost out on my cat. Marvin, stop it. Y'all, listeners, he's deciding not to give a cash app because I didn't get a chance to answer his question. Lord have mercy. You know what? You keep your money. If it's some sort of ties to it, you keep your money. I don't need that kind of money. All right, guys. You guys have an awesome night. Thank you. And I will be going back on. There's another special live. Get ready to go on. Okay, guys. Have a good one. Bye.